featuring 15 wines, including 3 movie wines for an incredible value.
That movie was actually really good.
That's like wine. It's an acquired.
There you go. I love movie people.
Raise a glass with your favorite cast of characters. Go to TCMWineClub.com.
Good evening and welcome to Turner Classic Movies. I'm Dave Karger, back for another night in our month-long series celebrating Disability Pride Month, which is July. And as always, I'm so happy to be here with Lawrence Carter Long. Lawrence is the co-director of DisArt, which is an organization that works to celebrate disability culture. Hello again, Lawrence.
Hey, pleasure to be with you, Dave, especially during this month. Thank you.
This is another great double feature that you've selected for us, and what the two films tonight have in common is that they're both silent movies. And we're starting off with one of the best, from 1931, starring and directed by Charlie Chaplin. It's City Lights. And I think for a lot of people, this might be a movie that they think of when they think of a classic film featuring a character with some sort of disability. Of course, it's the Virginia Sherrill character, the flower girl who is blind. And what's interesting is that you feel like this is a film that introduces some tropes about blind people or physically disabled people in general that lasted for a long time, right?
Yeah, because it was one of the first films ever made, thereby also one of the first films that ever showed a blind character on screen, many of those things that people saw within this film, they began to use or to rely on in later, right, in subsequent films that were made that involved blind characters. But it's really interesting when you think about the history of this film, why she was cast as this character, and despite the noteworthy trials and tribulations that Chaplin experienced in the course of making this film, that he fired her and brought her back because she was able to really depict this character in such a way where you got that sense of blindness, but without overplaying it, or without that sense of pathos, which I think really makes this film still resonate to people nearly 100 years later.
Yeah, so what you're alluding to is this incident where I guess she showed up to the set late because an appointment ran late, and he fired her on the spot, tried to hire a different actress, it wasn't working out, realized that too much of the film had already been shot with Virginia, so tried to get her back, she demanded more money, eventually she got rehired, so it all worked out, and the chemistry between them is very lovely, so it is kind of surprising to learn that there was this strife. But what was it, do you think, about her that led her to give this singular performance?
I think Chaplin said it. They met during a prize fight in LA, and as it turns out, she is nearsighted but refused to wear glasses. And so she's sort of staring off into the distance in such a way that Chaplin even then took note of. And he later wrote in one of his biographies that she was the only person he could find that could convincingly play a blind person but without being offensive. And I think for those reasons, and maybe some others, he felt it was important to bring her back and keep her in this role.
Lawrence, I know there's another cast member in this film that you want to pay attention to. His name is Granville Redmond. Who is he, and how can people look out for him in this film?
People can see Granville Redmond right at the beginning of the film. He plays the sculptor, and as the mayor of the town is doing his opening remarks at the big unveiling of the sculpture, you see him responding and reacting to what the Chaplin character is doing. And Redmond didn't only appear in City Lights, he also appeared in A Dog's Life and as many as 6 Chaplin films, because you didn't have to speak if you were a deaf actor. And during the silent era, there are actors of that sort who had opportunities to them that were shut down and were closed when the talkies came around. Redmond was also a noted Impressionist painter who's had several books written about him, really talking about his life and his art. And he's one of those actors that continued to work in a variety of films and had a career that was not available to actors like him when the talkies came into vogue.
That's fascinating. All right, Lawrence, we'll look out for him. Thanks so much, and we have more to say about this movie after we watch it, but here from 1931 are Charlie Chaplin and Virginia Sherrill in City Lights.